The Baltimore Ravens just started making moves, and it is the perfect timing. The dominoes have started to fall, and everything is coming into place. Just being one day away from the start of the legal tampering period, the Baltimore Ravens and Ronnie Stanley have come to terms on a 3-year, $60 million contract with $44 million guaranteed. Now, for most of us, if you're like me, you're extremely happy that we're bringing Ronnie Stanley back. We're bringing back Lamar Jackson's blindside protector, but some people are a little skeptical because of Ronnie Stanley's history. And I understand that there is some doubt that he will not continue to be healthy, especially being 31 years old. Previously injured seasons, one good season where he played all 17 games for the first time in his career that he completed a season. Even before the injury history, Ronnie Stanley never played a full season. So I understand the skepticism. I understand why people are like, man, this is a little bit too much money for an older off-injured player. But for me, the issue is the Ravens did not have a backup plan. And you could say Roger Rosengarten sliding over to the left-hand side would have been the easiest thing to do. It would have, but we don't know if it was going to work. So the best thing to do is to bring back the Pro Bowl left tackle, the former All-Pro, and have him man the left side. Understand, 20 mil per season is a lot of money that could have gone somewhere else. But what were we going to do? Have Roger start at left tackle, figure something out at guard, hope Falele progresses, and then draft or bring in the right tackle and hope that they all work well together? This is the same thing that we did last season where we had this hodgepodge of players and morphed into an offensive line. They didn't play as bad as we thought they were going to legitimately play, but they didn't play as well as Eric DeCosta or many others thought that they would. They thought Andrew Voorhees was going to come in and just lock down this starting spot and everything was going to be cool, but it wasn't. Pat McCarry started off at right tackle, then he moved over to the left guard. Like, it was so many moving pieces, and I think that this is an atrocity to me because, listen, league MVP, I don't care what anybody says. Lamar Jackson is out here doing his thing, making players look better than they really are, but we need to protect him better. We need to do better, and that first step started with the Baltimore Ravens re-signing Ronnie Stanley. So with this move being done, now the Ravens can focus on other things in free agency. They can focus on a bunch of other things in the draft. Now, for me personally, free agency being that it comes first, listen, bring in a guard. Bring in somebody beside Ronnie Stanley that's going to play and play well. Then draft another guard and have him take over Falele's spot. Now, I know that this move probably means and signals the end for Pat McCarry's time in Baltimore, but for me, hey, go get your money, go play for somebody else. When your claim to fame is being a jack of all trades and can play any position on the line, that means that you don't play one position well. That means that you can just slide in temporarily and hold down the fort for a couple snaps, a couple series, maybe a game, but not for a full season. So to me, it was a no-brainer. You bring back Stanley, you let McCarry walk, and you bring in his replacement, or hope that Andrew Voorhees can take that next step for finally having a year under his belt of actually playing NFL football, being in training camp, being in drills, getting the conditioning down, and just knowing what it is to be a professional. That is the hope. But we have to bring in talent just in case he's not prepared. Now, the Ravens had us on pins and needles and waited till almost the last minute, but they got the deal done. Good for them. Now, a lot of us can breathe a lot easier knowing that Lamar Jackson has his boy back there, has his protector, has his bodyguard. I know that the price tag may have been a little bit hefty, but that is the going rate for starting tackles in the league, and even some guards are making that money. So you got to pay to play. Now, the Ravens, being that they were $12 million under the cap, are they going to have to restructure somebody? Are they going to have to make some moves? Of course they are, because they got to have money to bring in free agents. They got to have money to re-sign other players. They got to have money for their draft picks. So somebody's coming up with a restructure really soon. Somebody's getting cut. Somebody's getting traded. Something is going to happen. But I know that I am just extremely excited knowing that they got this one piece down. This is one less thing that we as Ravens fans have to worry about. And one thing I wish not to worry about is having to have you like and subscribe. So make sure you hit that like button. Make sure to subscribe. Like, this is the 5th day in a row that I put out a video because you guys are actually enjoying it. And the more you enjoy it, the more that you show me that you want the videos, the more I'm going to make. So hit that button. It's real simple. Boop. There you go. So what could potentially be next for the Baltimore Ravens? Where, if any of that allocated money with the moves that they're probably going to have to make, where is it going to go? Granted, we need a wide receiver. Whether you want to consider him 1, 2, or 3, it doesn't matter. We're going to need 2 guards. We're going to need a premier edge rusher. We're going to need a cornerback. And of course, we're going to need a third safety. So the Ravens have to be smart about the rest of their offseason moves. The Ravens have to be smart about this drafting. We don't need 11 draft picks. Go up and get the players that you want. You were aggressive enough to go out there and sign Ronnie Stanley and not let him hit free agency. Be aggressive when it comes to the draft. Be aggressive when it comes to free agency. I'm not saying go out there and blow your wad just at every free agent that comes by, but at least get some guys that can play football. We just saw, and I know a lot of us out here keep reiterating, we just saw what the Philadelphia Eagles did on both sides of the ball. It wasn't just the defensive line that wrecked shop in the Super Bowl. It was their offensive line that has been a staple of the Philadelphia Eagles for almost half a decade, if not longer. So we need to fortify this offensive line and give Lamar the best protection that he can get. Imagine what he can do. Imagine how he can improve on a 4,100-yard passing season and 41 touchdowns. Imagine getting him another weapon that teams have to defend against, which is not a fullback on the field. Because I'm sorry, hard or card, if we fortify this offensive line, we don't need a fullback. Now we can deploy and implement a fullback, but we don't need a $4, $5, $6 million fullback to come in and help out our offensive line if we go out here and prepare properly. If we have an offensive line that can block, where's the need for this fullback? We can take the fullback off the field and put in another weapon to put stress on these defenses. Go out and get another weapon so when the playoffs roll around, if anything happens, we will have another guy in there that can scare defenses so they can't centralize and focus on one guy. Even though Lamar did his thing with 3, 4, and 5, go out there and get those weapons. And I'm not saying for the Ravens to ignore defense, not at all, because we need that pass rusher. Get that money. Restructure Humphrey, restructure Roquan, trade or cut Mark Andrews. Do what you need to do to go get Josh Sweat. Now we have an offensive piece, we have a defensive piece that are cornerstones, and they're going to lock down certain positions that we don't have to worry about. Then the draft can be fully focused on positions of need. I don't want to hear that best player available crap. We have needs. I don't need the best player available to come in and sit behind somebody else for 2 or 3 years while we're trying to win a Super Bowl in 2025. And when I tell you, I am extremely excited to go to work on Monday, because when I do, it's going to be around that time that the legal tampering period starts. And we're going to see where all the rest of the dominoes fall around the league and what the Ravens have to pick from. I said it before, EDC, I'm having confidence in you this season. And you started everything off right. You've shown me, hey, I'm not going to let the money scare me. I'm not going to let the injury history scare me. I'm going to bring back Ronnie Stanley because it is what is best for this team. Also, what is best for this team? Not using 11 draft picks. Using some of them to trade up to get better players. Using some of those draft picks and maybe even players to trade and get better players at certain positions. It's time for the Ravens to let some people go, because I'm tired of each and every year doing these videos having the same conversations about, oh, we're going to go on the draft, we're going to get a cornerback in the first round, then we're going to go on free agency, and we're going to sign a couple cornerbacks, and then later in the season, we're going to sign another cornerback. I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired of drafting a pass rusher and then having to sign 2 pass rushers in free agency and hope that they work out. And then one of them balls out like they never have done before, and then they leave and go get more money. Then we start this process all over again. Let's fortify the positions that we need to so we can stop having the same issues, stop having to draft the same positions, stop having to go on free agency, and stop picking up the same positions year in and year out. It is getting tiresome. Stop thinking that these 5th, 6th, and 7th round rookies are going to come in and do something, because they're not. Go out and get players that you know can play, or start drafting players that love football. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I was saying, listen, there are a lot of skilled guys out here in all of professional sports, but a lot of them do not succeed because they don't love the sport that they're in. They love the accolades, they love the fame, they love the money, they love everything that comes with being a professional athlete, being well known. But a lot of them don't love the sport, so they don't put the time in, they don't put the effort, and they don't go that extra mile to be better than people thought they could be. And I do believe that this is a time that the Ravens, in my opinion, need to start getting those guys that are talented and love football. Not good character guys, not guys that you think will be good in 3 or 4 years, because we keep having this 3 or 4 year conversation. And then we rinse and repeat and say, well, we're bringing in a new crop of guys, and in a couple of years, they're going to be good. Well, if we keep a coupling a year of it, Lamar Jackson's going to be at the end of his career, and we're going to say, what happened? How could we have the most dynamic, the most electric quarterback in football and have let him down so many times? But this is a video about Ronnie Stanley being re-signed. Good job, Ravens. Good job, Eric DeCosta. You did what you needed to do. You did what we hoped you would do, or at least most of us, because undoubtedly overall, this is the move that you needed to make.